Then, of course, there was, for quite a long period...
same reason also for reasons of fuel, actually. Most jet aircraft end up being displayed at, or the earlier ones that didn't have the ability to, recuperate the fuel and keep it pumping to the engine.
Yes.
That's negative G.
Good point, yes. Yes.
Which isn't a player nowadays in a modern jet airplane, but yes, the early JPs and things, you're limited to some, I remember, some 20 seconds or something of unloaded flight before you have to get it back again, which is actually quite a long time.
Up is the one on the left. And the pink person on the right is Mr. Blobby. There go. Triplane and the Eindecker. Parameters to guide them. They were getting involved in aerial flying and aerial combat for the first time.
This is not particularly true with the Eindecker, the 1915 aeroplane, which is got in front of us now. And it's not Tony Fokker was actually, Schneider designed the Eindecker. Tony Fokker never had much designing of any of his airplanes. But he was a brilliant publicist and a first-class test pilot.
Here we are in... Yes, I'm not quite sure what headphones.
Yes, I can hear something, yes.
Right, he's being chased off now by one of the fire crews. We can get back, I think, to the flying.
I'm not so sure he's turning round again.
No.
I think he exerted quite a lot of influence, I think.
Steaming down the main runway in one of those Mahindra Jeeps, and the Red Baron's after him in the triplane. There's obviously a needle match going on. You saw it happening in the pilot's enclosure if you were in this area. And Blobby's on the main runway. We've got fire crews chasing him down. We've got a Jeep with the snowdrops and the MPs chasing him down. The Eindecker's after him. The triplane's after him. And we've got to get him off. Whoever's driving that Jeep is not in radio contact at the moment, and they're being blobbied. Forced by Mr. Blobby. Can you imagine it? Ross Sharp was delegated to just help Mr. Blobby find his way around the site. He's in the Jeep as well. And look at this. Oh dear, I tell you, you don't upset the Red Baron in the Fokker triplane for nothing. And look out. Flower bombs! Bombs away! Blobby, your time has come. The Red Baron's version of liposuction, I think. The Red Baron is yanking the triplane around. Blobby's slowed down. He's slowed down. He's such a show-off. He's such a show-off. He's just making... I don't even know whether he knows what's going on. Ross Sharp out there used to run this aerodrome, now based up at Royal Air Force Finningley. He's in the Jeep with Bobby. The fire engines are catching him up now, but there goes the fire engine's taking a hit from the triplane. I can't see what's going on, but we're desperately trying to get him off. It's this, believe it or not, was supposed to be a demonstration of the flying characteristics of World War I aeroplanes. The Fokker triplane, the Fokker Eindecker, with the Camel also getting airborne very shortly. I can't see the Camel. Oh, the fire engine's having a crack at Blobby's. We've sprung a leak in the fire engine. It's on fire. They've taken a direct hit from the Red Baron. That wasn't wanted at all. The Red Baron's coming back in. He's going to have another go. Here he comes, around from the right, low level. Blobby's coming down. Out of the way, Blobby. Another bomb going down. Oh, missed him again. Mind you, the Eindecker's cruising around. I don't know whether he's armed, but he's certainly bringing it round low level. I think Mr. Blobby better duck for this one. The fire engine's looking dreadful. It's leaking water all down the runway. It's taken a direct hit. It's smoking like anything. The MPs in the Jeep actually don't know what to do now. There's fire. Nearly, so nearly. And look at the way that triplane's being yanked round at the top there. There's definite needle in here.
Not too deep, not far too bright, no squeeze too tight, no tail too tall, no catch too cool, no base too low, real good. No into its talents, no sense of
Behind Becker's off Monday.
Right, we've just heard on the radio, Blobby's mob have been told by him to call for reinforcements. So I don't know what he means by that, because he's already being attacked by the fire engine. Yeah, here comes the boat. The MPs are steering well clear of that. There's a little duel going on out there. Mr. Blobby's called for reinforcements, and here they come. The Diamond Nine. Looking a bit unhappy now. Can't even see the Iron Decker. I think, oh, he's coming in for a quarter attack on Mr. Blobby. Round you go. Oh, no, he's just lining him up. The fire engine is steaming smoke. Give the red barrel a wave, ladies and gentlemen. Robin Bowes in the triplane. Well, John, I saw you there. I wasn't sure whether you were laughing at me, laughing at them, or just enjoying yourself.
I was enjoying that.
Oh, hang on. A good representation of these early fighting aeroplanes.
Yes, we have.
Mr. Blobby for a moment.
The Eindecker, there's a monoplane coming in front of us now, which is the first fighting aeroplane, effective fighting aeroplane in the war. And, of course, that's which is the most effective fighting aeroplane. By 1917, things like the Fokker triplane that Robin Bowes is sporting himself in now come on the scene, and the Sopwith Camel, which is now hotly pursuing the Eindecker.
Development went ahead very fast. I mean, we can see that here as well.
Oh, indeed, yes. Two years of war, it went on extremely quickly. Is Tony Bianchi flying the Eindecker? I have a note. The Camel is Jonathan Whaley, I know. Camel and the triplane, contemporaries, and fairly evenly matched, both with two forward-firing guns. Sopwith, before the Camel and the delightful puff that preceded it, had produced an elegant and extremely efficient triplane, which climbed like a scalded cat, was extremely maneuverable, and with only one gun on it, which was current at that time, a rotary engine, notched up a formidable reputation in France with the naval squadron. The Germans were so impressed with Triplane 1. It was designed by Reinhold Glatz, who had then taken over from Schneider as Fokker's chief designer. Fokker, who was cutting corners in order to cut costs, found himself with an aeroplane which is attempting to shed its top wing under stress.
Yeah.
And after a couple of months on the Western Front, they were all withdrawn while Fokker had to rebuild them. So it had a very short career.
Yeah.
And Rick Toten was one of the few people who liked it. He hung on to his triplane long after the rest of Jagdstaffel 1 had gone on to the Albatross. It wasn't terribly effective now. Well, it was Riphides from the 56 Squadron, which was the crack fighting squadron. He was the man who really put the triplane on the map. He was jumped by McCutcheon's flight.
He was called in his reinforcements, and Robin Bowes had been his. Yeah, very little known about air fighting at the beginning of the 1418 war. A lot more afterwards, of course.
Yes.
It was those books that proved so valuable in the Second World War.
It was rather, yes. Well, mind you, both in America and Britain, up until a very intelligent armament officer in the Air Ministry persuaded the authorities that they should have multi-gun fighters. It was Freeman at the moment. The Vickers guns mounted inside the fuselage were mounted way back, almost alongside the cockpit, so the pilot could reach the breeches of the gun.
As you said earlier, point the aeroplane and fire the
That's
guns.
the only efficient way of doing it, you see.
That was, of course, after interrupter gear had been...
Yes, we, the Brits, made a complete muddle.
Leave my commentary unit alone.
And another interesting product of Mr. Geoffrey de Havilland's pen
Sorry,
is...
you slipped back into that remarkably well.
Calm down, yes. Just taking off.
It's earlier on, I mean, of course,
yes.
the Hawk is the Natch replacement, if I can call it that. Been around some while now. It's a lovely aeroplane to fly.
Long the airplane is. Once you grasp that, there's no problem.
Grasp that. One of two display squadrons, if you like, of Hawks this year, because the other one's being brought out from Chibnall. And the two stations doing the same job now. Still a few years ago, Chibnall was the weapons unit for the Hawk, and US Navy bought them.
Right, have a bit of pace.
A certain amount of Sturm and Drang over the gas shop, wasn't there? Because the Americans insisted on all sorts of cheese pads. It was only wouldn't work, and it didn't.
And it didn't, absolutely. It also had an idea on an aeroplane you don't get to use on carriers.
No, but it was entirely their fault. The collision was something like 260 horsepower up front, which is almost precisely 5 times the horsepower. That's going now into a torque roll. The aircraft still rolling, sliding backwards to the tail side, and then tumbling out. The original Pitts Special, which was designed in 1940, built in 1944, so it's now 50 years old, had 55 horsepower, designed by Curtis Pitts for Betty Skelton, a well-known American display and aerobatic pilot, who wanted a very small aeroplane. Remarkable series of tumbling maneuvers over the top, culminating in a down-pointing rapid pointer. Pitts is very powerful. The power-to-weight ratio is excellent. It's about the same as a Formula One racing car, but it's rather more controllable. And
it doesn't want downforce, does it?
It doesn't want downforce, no. It's short span, so it rolls quickly. It's got 4 powerful ailerons, one on each wing. Well, it's 360 degrees a second, which is slightly better than that of the Nat, I think.
But not a lot.
Not a lot, no, it was about the same. About the same. I was being nice to him.
Depending whether you have the fuses in or out. Actually, I didn't realise the Pitts was as old as you just said.
Yes, I was saying
Before it now comes to manoeuvre this.
Oh, inverted flying never amused me, ever. Ooh. He's pushing what? 3.5?
3.5. At least outside loop there.
Yeah. Which is very,
Not
very
content, he's going to do it again.
The micro-release Pitts Saraway. I think the youngest Pitts display pilot in the country, isn't he? I was told yesterday. He's doing extremely well.
Indeed. Started at 6'2" and he's down to about 5'8" already.
Something like that, yes. He's only got to be rude to a witch doctor and he'll vanish. 4-point hesitation roll. And 2 more. And then a flick, rapid couple of flicks, 2, 3 flicks in the other direction. Nothing so much. Makes a very interesting comparison with the stop maneuvers that you saw Brian McComber doing. Brian getting the absolute maximum out of the stop. And you can see what can be done now with a very highly stressed, very competitive over. But the pilot's a limitation now.
Absolutely.
I mean, the new Sukhois are actually ultimately stressed at 23G plus or minus.
The sort of G that you only pull once, isn't it, really?
I think so, yes. Yes, I think so. You're very...
Not that you remember.
No, you get very two-dimensional. Oh, well, he's still there, isn't he? Pointing in the right direction. It's not quite a flick, it's not quite an inverted spin. It's halfway between the two. I remember Neil Williams telling me on one occasion that he started practicing long shebacks, and he said he was totally stunned by what the airplane was doing. And someone said, how did you recover? He said, well, I just waited, and when it turned into something recognizable, I recovered from that. That's interesting. Rolling rapid series of aileron rolls, and then pulling up to the 40 foot, an aileron roll, a way down. And he's not using a lot of height. I mean, no. Some years ago, it would be unthinkable to start a complete sleigh roll vertically down from that height. You tried it in a yak, of course, which went down like a manhole cover.
Fancy doing it without the artificial aids of G-suits or all the bits and pieces that as military pilots we're used to.
You've got to be very fit, in fact.
Really, the very rapid onset of very high G-forces.
Neck muscles, yes. Because in a series of flicks.
Bridge too far, Dave, isn't it?
Now, these are getting airborne to start their display a little later, presumably. They're going on now, they shifted it. I'm sorry, yes, that's perfectly right, they shifted it down. I had been told that by Norman Lees, and I had forgotten. That aircraft that you've just seen getting airborne, in which you will, I think, be able to take rides after the show, is an absolutely unique aircraft. It's not a DC-3, it's not a military C-47. It's a one-off called a C-41. It was a 14-seater luxury VIP aircraft, and it was the private aircraft of General Hammond, commander of the United States Army Air Force in the Second World War, and he flew in that aircraft from 1938 right through until the end of the war. So it's a unique and very historical aeroplane, and I think it will be joyriding on. That's it. It's in its standard pre-war markings for transport aeroplanes in the United States Army Air Corps, with the stars and bars on the tail, and the badge of its face marked painted on the rear fuselage, as was common in those days. And that's the Capitol Dome, Washington, and it's the badge of Bolling Field, which was the headquarters airfield at Washington.
John, I'll remind our guests again that in fact this is the only air display that's being held in this country during the commemorative D-Day week, and this was a very important aeroplane during that period, wasn't it?
The Dakota was indeed, because it was used universally for glider towing and parachute dropping. Royal Air Force used Hastings as well, for mostly for glider towing, but the Dakota was the universal provider throughout the war. And yes, very handsome airplane. One off. See the right back.
Ah, that's nice. Dutch Dakota
This is, yes, the Dutch DAC Association, tremendous friends of this show. Always come over every year. This year, to their enormous delight, they're flying in the display. Now, this is the Battle of Britain Memorial Flights Dakota. It used to be at RAE.
This is new to the flight.
This is new to the flight, yes. They picked it up after they made up in the markings of Flight Lieutenant John Lord, who was flying a supply drop mission at Arnhem, carried on to successfully drop the supplies in a burning aircraft at one Foxtrot Victoria Cross, originally reserved. An old friend of mine, no longer with us, and that, of course, is one of the two Air National King Dakotas we've had here.
Well, they're both flying for us today, Romeo Alpha and Papa Zulu.
Yep, they're both here today.
Which is good. They've got quite a big... so many Dakotas here because we're really remembering the work of this airborne, of this show, the serious bit, that is, of the airborne forces, the air crew that flew the parachute planes, towed the gliders, dropped the supplies, and the parachutists themselves. And Charlie Shea Simmons is here, who's chairman of the Historic Aircraft Association, amongst the
That's right, yep.
This is a lovely sight, isn't it? 5 of these
Absolutely fantastic, and when you consider that they were probably the greatest workhorse of the war, and certainly for airborne forces, anybody who served in airborne forces has tremendous affection for this marvellous aeroplane. They towed such an historic role to play.
Yes. This aeroplane has been really one of the most successful designs. Oh, Spunkmeyer here with the gear down. Give you another look at that. It's not the quickest aeroplane in the world.
Not at all the quickest. Absolutely.
Dutch Dakota Association have been going for a good number of years now. That is a very solidly backed organisation, and they do really enjoy the fact that they're invited to Great Warbirds each year, but to actually fly in the display.
It was an excellent aeroplane to jump from. Its speed was right. There was no danger of fail or anything like that. And it went into parachutes with remarkably little effort or trial with them. The other thing was that you had to descent in total darkness from about 6,000 feet off your objective, and to arrive on it without actually damaging anyone. It's a lovely sight to see these. It really is. And you and your Darman 9 are coming on. Well, not your Darman 9 anymore, are they? Well, they've asked me to lead it this afternoon, so I will be actually at the pointed end, but I'm sort of fulfilling just that function. We're actually looking for Tim Williams. Am I allowed to put out a call? Please do, yes. We're hoping for this tiger. Yes, you were at Darman 8 when you arrived. Absolutely, yes. So if Tim Williams is actually somewhere near a commentary loudspeaker.
Awarded the first ever type approval certificate for a commercial helicopter all the way back in 1946. And a lot of commercial and military markets for this aircraft. This one fitted with the 2 stretchers, registered G-MASH, not actually a Korean War veteran. Until 1969. Those of you who watched that television program, MASH, will recognise this aeroplane instantly. It was really the last of the Hawker piston engine fighter.
It was the last. Yes, it was the last piston engine fighter in the Royal Navy, and the earlier Hawker Tempest was the last piston engine fighter in the Air Force. This was designed to succeed the Tempest with the RAF. Came along rather too late because they'd gone on to jets by then. In fact, it can seem to notice. But the Navy then beefed it up to smash into aircraft carriers. The Navy accepted it with great glee. A long time since they'd had a civilized
flying, very
yes,
similar.
they went to with the Tempest, you see. He went on to an elliptical laminar flow wing. Standard armament by then, which was 4 20mm cannon. 80 miles an hour, isn't it? And this thing would do about 430, about 460.
Yeah.
In fact, it was supposed to be, I've no idea how true it is, but it has a fair claim to being the fastest single-engine piston fighter ever. Are they?
Here's a nice shot. Here's a nice shot. Look at this.
Yep. Elegant. It's wearing the colour scheme on...
Start and then putting them back into the air again. Their aim really is to maintain and present the aircraft as a salute to a period when British aircraft engineering led the world.
Just got the height under that cloud base. Get around. One of the oddest jobs that a Sea Fury ever had to undertake was that a Royal Australian Navy Sea Furies were detailed to shoot down an Ulster from a Sydney flying club, which had taken off with nobody on board, and was circling the city and the harbour with every intention, apparently, of running out of fuel and crashed. And the Australian Air Force sent up vampires, which couldn't get anywhere near it, and the Sea Furies had to come and shoot it down.
I'll turn you off so we can't hear you doing it.
By the end of the war, it was the only aeroplane on a big American carrier that wasn't a Hellcat. Hellcats took over absolutely everything else except the torpedo trap. You can see the step in the fuselage back where the gun tunnel. Americans had, in the big Pratt & Whitneys and the Wrights, they had the best air-cooled engines in the world. And they went on developing them. They went into basically everything, fortresses, liberators, all the American Navy stuff. I was hoping you wouldn't say that. The Hornet is itself, in fact, unique, where the Messenger, of course, is made up in the invasion stripes and the yellow undersides and sand and spinach tops of the liaison aircraft. And it represents Monty's Messenger. General Montgomery, as he then was, and Air Marshal Tedder were both given personal messengers as a sort of airborne jeep for de Havilland to do for the Gypsy Moth and Tiger Moth what he'd already done with monoplanes, provide a comfortable cabin, two-seater, for people who didn't want to dress up. De Havilland invented the square wings you see on them. And if you sent your pointed wings in, put it engaged.
Ladies and gentlemen, and Joe Hartung leads in the Duke of Brabant Air Force P-25, the two P-51s and the two Spitfires. And this, the Great Warbirds Air Display 1994, it's our salute to D-Day. Say before this run comes in, watch this, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Hartung runs the company that restored this aeroplane, supplied it to the Duke of Brabant Air Force. He knows this aeroplane inside out and backwards, and he's very, very good. He specifically asked yesterday, when he didn't get a solo slot, do you mind, you old man? He said, you all mind if I do a solo in the 25? A dozen people from Baton Rouge came in and threatened to, get it right, boy. But here he goes.
Andy Stewart stealing the greenery, running in from your left. 1,700 horsepower right left. Of course, which is all they could get onto the deck of the Hornet, which did the famous Doolittle raid on Tokyo. They took off from that carrier over 1,000 gallons of fuel. They were responsible for a great many of the interdiction strikes which sealed off the German army immediately in front of the Allied landings. Every railway, every road bridge, every rail bridge was comprehensively blown. They carried a very powerful armament. Some of them had solid noses with a lot of .50s. You could put 4 extra .5s in each packages alongside the pilot's cockpit. One version had a 75mm gun. That's the same gun as a Sherman tank. Sticking out 21 rounds. Like the maximum ever fired on one pass was 4.
Looking good. How are you feeling when you're flying?
Well, obviously, the Intrepid Mustang that's airborne in front of you now is the aircraft that I've been sort of used to over the last couple of years?
The aeroplane was restored by her husband Nick, who was then sadly killed in a car crash. Carolyn's done extremely well. It was always intended she should fly the aeroplane, but here she is now actually displaying it. There's a big difference between the two, isn't there?
There is, yes, there is. What she's been asked to do over the last 2 years, she's made tremendous progress, and she's doing really well. It looks, I suppose we try to make it look a little bit easy without you're stuffed into people's prop wash, which is quite alarming at times, especially at low level. There's a lot to think about, and Caroline's done extremely well, and I've been very, very proud to have her with me in the large formation. So.
Edwin Boshoff in one of those 51s, and our old mate Pete John in the other one. PJ, it's nice to see him back again, isn't it?
It is, yeah. PJ and I have sort of known each other for quite a few years now, flying the Harvards, and of course PJ was flying for Rob Zamplow a lot, and still does, of course, flying his Mustang. I can't believe this.
We're in real trouble now.
It's okay.
Oh yes, he can nick that. He can nick that.
Mr. Blobby's just nicked all the drinks.
Right.
There's Chris Bellhouse now pulling up into a loop. Over the top of the loop, he'll be unloading the controls. Quite slow in the Harvard at the top, but you just sort of hold everything off, and the aircraft just goes over the top very easily. Speed at the bottom, probably about 180 knots.
The man showing off the revolving rig, so maybe he'll be doing it again today. Simon's Sales and Marketing Director of GWR Radio, one of our sponsors here at Wroughton. Give them a wave as they go by. You are allowed to. This is an entertaining display. Thanks, Norman. Norman's off. He's got to go and set up the...
That must be excessively uncomfortable with the negative G pitch over the top. You think it's a laudable attempt?
I really reckon the drag.
Look at this idiot. Oh dear. Crunchies have got a winner on this, haven't they?
They have. It's very, very good value.
My sight.
Yeah,
There
she's
she is.
waving to you. The smoke's on. Barry's bringing her past nice and low and slow. Give her a wave. She really does appreciate it.
It makes you feel wanted.
Oh, that's Simon. That looks
Simon,
nothing like Sarah at all.
You're standing on the wing. Demonstration pilots, display pilots here. Four squadrons of Hercules still based at Lynham, 34, 30, 40 air screws, so that you can brake to not only brake to a halt in a very short distance. The loadmaster inside the rear of the fuselage is now lowered the ramp. Standard exit form for either still the way to unload as rapidly as possible, which is where the universal pitch has come in useful. So I couldn't tell you which squadron the aircraft is from, because they have a central servicing system at Lynham, and the aircraft are held in pool, but I am moderately certain in my own mind that in fact this is from 57 Reserve Squadron.
Air Force is refueling both on the Hercules.
That's right, yes.
Their refueling system.
Not the refueling threats of the Falklands came from the stores left behind from the Victors converted at Woodford.
Now we're working up to...
Well, you can. You then want to stop as soon as you can and do what you've come to do. And you then want a rapid acceleration and a steep climb out again. And you watch the Hercules doing this.
Yeah, setting up, running good.
Any moment now. Down she goes.
Pitch down. Ooh, woof. Hanging on the props.
using the props as brakes.
Exactly.
Screaming in.
What's the nose wheel in this? Look. Oh. The engineers who fix these aeroplanes stand here and say, well, there's another nose wheel I've got to look at on Monday.
Yes. Very short run indeed, using a quarter, less than a fifth of the runway. Now to a halt. Second. Now look at the length or lack of length of this takeoff run.
Rotate.
Rotate now. And steep climb out as soon as he's airborne. Disappear now behind the Dutch Dakota.
Yeah, holding it down, you get a bit of airspeed going there.
Yes, if you're going to haul out, yes.
That's the one sponsored by Chipping Sodbury.
That,
and
in
on
fact,
the
is a
side,
comparatively modest climber.
295.
It's a very impressive display for such a big aeroplane, isn't it? Because it is a big aircraft.
Then on his left, Peter Lecointe, one of those who indeed learned to fly on tiger moths an awful long time ago. And they're going to break up this formation now. Charlie's going to take his wingmen to the right, while Len Mitten in the number 6 slot takes 2 more off to the left. And from the back, we have Ken Whitehead, Pete Jackson and Pete Coleman showing you the aerobatic, and be ready to click the shutter as they come in for the climax of their show, which is any second now. The arrow break. Now. Thank you, Jerry, for that round of applause. I'm sure they'll appreciate it.
No problem. Yes, down there in the visiting aircraft park too.
Sort of aerial AA.
Anybody who flies in a display at any level has a thing called a DA. It's a display authorization for that pilot. They have to be tested on the level of display flying that they do. It's now a CAA requirement after years of potential anarchy with anybody able to take an aeroplane up and throw it around. And there are a number of levels. There are straight and level passes, there are formation. Oh, look.
Torquay Hill Way.
Norman Lee's leading in the 16.
Then the Mark 5C, then the T9, Caroline, then the Dutch and the Airfield, and the Rockcraft of E51, then the Yak with Gary, and the
Pilot group. Norman Lees is having a very good day. Norman, one of the flying coordinators.
Oh, he's thoroughly enjoyable. He's worked jolly hard. This is kind of quite a sweet gaggle almost, isn't it?
Yeah. Good Myers, 51, and bringing up, that's a nice tight one at the back end there. Look, Gary and John Bradshaw.
Staring at each other.
Two of Eddie Coventry's aeroplanes in that, the Mark 16 Spitfire and the Yak 2. They're both operated by Intrepid Aviation, David Gilmore's operation.
Yes.
And to all of those who fought and those who fell in the week of D-Day and thereafter, the mass formations of the Great Warbirds Air Display 1994. Just listen to this.
It's the others, Dom. There's the fighters.
come the rest. I think that's a very nice formation. John Webb, Nick English, Alex St. Thomas, and Chris Bellhouse. And Dave Southwood in the P12, leading Alan House and Chris Edmondson to Mr. Provis and Rob Dean, the box in the ME 108. Come on with your users of not being fair.
You might get some nice shots here. I can see the fighters out there over the hill. And just here, crossing the threshold, Keith Sissons brings in Sally B. Joe Harker flying the Duke of Brabant Air Force B-25. Anthony Hodgson in the Beech 18, the C-45.
And Tony Hughes Thomas.
Tony Haig Thomas. And that lovely Spunkmeyer Dakota. That's nice.
It's an achievement with those desperate types to fly that anyway.
Spitfire braking. Spitfire braking. Spitfire braking. Call the brake on the 51. Brake.
51 braking. B-51 braking.
Yak up and brake.
That has come together better. There go our Russians away home. Not all the way to Russia, I don't think.
51. PJ flies the Intrepid Aviation 51, followed by Rob Zlamplau. Michelle. As they come across.
Dutch P-51 landing.
Nice. Look at that. That's a lovely formation. Echelon port as they come through, stepped up from the leader. John calling the brake, 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 go. Everybody counts 1001 brake, 1001 brake, 1001 brake. And Bellhouse the last one out. Nice again. And upward, normally flies the 109G in the lead Pilatus, Alan House, Chris Edmondson, and Rod Dean in the MA 108. Calling the brake, and the Pilatus up and out.
Yes,
Pilatus is
slightly more complicated braking from that formation.
Yes, it is.
Sort of step-down box.
gear. I told him to put his gear down.
Yes, I don't think that's going to be a landing somehow. I hope not. Presumably.
What a lovely sight. Aircraft of all sorts of sizes.
Excellent for the break, yes. This is going to be a spectacular break regarding the personal characters of the pilots concerned.
20 up and over, 25 up and over.